2 Corinthians 7 verse 1. Having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God. So the Bible is telling us to cleanse ourselves from unrighteousness, from sin, from filthiness, and to perfect holiness in the fear of God. Only Jesus was perfect, but we can perfect holiness. God wouldn't require us to perfect holiness unless he knew we could do it. So he's telling us to cleanse ourselves of all filthiness. So I'm going to flip over to Mark 9. I had to do the little finger lip. Mark 9, verse 29. And Jesus' disciples asked Jesus how come they couldn't cast out this deaf and dumb spirit that Jesus cast out, but the disciples couldn't cast them out. So they asked him, how come we couldn't cast them out? And Jesus said, this kind can come forth by nothing but prayer and fasting. So to cleanse yourself from all filthiness, first of all, you won't be able to perfect holiness unless you were born again of the water and born again of the Holy Spirit. That's first things first. But once you do, of course, you're going to go through sin. You're going to go through battle. The devil's going to throw things at you. So the Bible's telling us to cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh. The only way to keep your flesh under subjection is by praying and fasting. They go together. They go hand in hand. Fasting is putting your flesh under subjection. You're not giving into your flesh. So if you're going without food and water, you're not giving into your flesh. Your flesh might want food and water, but you're disciplining yourself to say no to your flesh, to say no to the things that your flesh needs, not the things that your flesh wants. And so what you need, when you're doing that, you need a prayer. You need to get into the Spirit. You need to read the Word as you're fasting, and through that, you can perfect holiness. So cleansing yourself, so not just fasting, but also staying away from certain things that might trigger different sins you might be struggling with or battling with. So cleanse yourself from all filthiness of the flesh. Perfecting holiness in the fear of God. The fear of God does not mean that you're scared of God, but the fear of God means that you love him so much that you're scared to hurt him. And hurting him is by sinning. Jesus says, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. So if you keep his commandments, you're making him happy. When you sin, it hurts him, So that's the fear of God, fearing that you love him so much that you don't want to hurt him, that you don't want to displease him, that you don't want to make him disappointed. So first, be born again of the water and of the Spirit, right? Then, if you already are and if you're battling with a sin or anything like that, cleanse yourself, pray, fast. While you're doing that, get the word, get as much word in as you can, praying, perfect holiness. Say no to your flesh. You can perfect holiness. Have the fear of the Lord. Have the fear of God. So love him so much that you're scared to hurt him, that you're scared to displease him.